Yummy! Hello again, back onto the Sierra. Last video we had it up and running and we were out live mapping it in the rain, and straight away we've had some issues with it. Basically the breather was breathing quite heavy, and we did a leak down test on it and a compression test on it, and we had an issue internally with the engine. So we dropped the engine back out. I didn't film any of it because, as you can imagine, we were both quite pissed off with the whole situation. Stripped the engine down, so here you can see head off, cams out, sump off, pulled the pistons out, and this was only ever a stock unopened ST170 engine that we painted bubblegum pink, and it has cracked the pistons in and around this area here, which is in fact a common fault with running boost through a stock ST170 engines. And speaking to a few people that I know who've done it many a time, it's kind of a gamble. A friend, Chris, has done probably about 5 engines, and some, he says, last, you know, we've got mates who are running them for like a year or 2 with 12, 15 PSI boost, and haven't had an issue, and then other ones, you drive them up the road and yeah, you have a problem basically. So I looked into could get forged internals, which is probably the right way of doing it. But again, we're only really after sort of 250 horsepower and don't really want to throw yet more money at this already expensive build. So we're doing it kind of the hillbilly way. So I've cut a decomp plate out of 2mm stainless steel, and that will be sandwiched between 2 head gaskets, and that will lower the compression. And then also we're looking to run a set of standard blacktop pistons, which have a bowl in the top. I believe, I was under the impression that it would actually lower the compression running these, but again, I've spoken to a couple of people and they've said they think it might actually raise the compression, but with the decomp plate, we'll knock it down a bit, and that should help with the boost that we're going to be running. So we've got a new headset, bolt set, new oil filter, and then some brake cleaner and fluids to re-hone the bore. The bore is actually not too bad. There's a couple of shiny spots on it, but there's no sort of real scurfs in it. So we can clean the deck, hone it out, and then slap all the pistons in, clean the oil pump out, because obviously there's bits of metal in the oil. And then yeah, sling it all back together, and hopefully it'll all work again. So just going to take all the spray jets out and kind of mask it all up as best as possible, because we're going to be obviously honing it and spraying it full of brake cleaner and bits of metal everywhere, so we need to try and limit the amount of metal that's going to go all over the place. So we've already taped up the journals, stop any bits going inside the crank. Adam's just cleaning the pistons up, bit of degreaser, and now I'm going to get on to blocking up the oil galleys and just cleaning up the top of the block with some sandpaper. So that's the block all cleaned up, and now we're going to just block off all the oil galleys on the head and give that a quick clean up. We're using 1500 on a big metal plate and a bit of brake cleaner just to take all the gunge off it and stuff. That's the head, as clean as I can be asked to get it. Barton's just cleaned and flushed out the old oil pump as well, because there's some fragments of debris in that as well. Okay, so we put some cloth down the bottom, and we are now ready to have a go at honing the bores, just to take that polish mark out. So what's the juice that we put on it?
So it's safety clean. That's what they use in the parts washer.
And that's got a little bit of oil to it to give it a bit of lubrication. Nice action. I think you're going too fast. Maybe put it on 1. Oh, yeah, like that. That's it. Essential. Rebuilding the oil pump. And unfortunately we got the wrong gasket, so we can't put that back on today. But I'm just throwing in the old shells. Again, a bit hillbilly, but we're going to be using the shells out of the ST engine because they all look pretty good. And I'll be slotting them into the new blacktop pistons, cleaning it all up as I go, and then a smear of oil before we slide the pistons back in the newly honed bores. Adam's also cleaned out the sump because it had a lot of bits of swarf and sludgy old oil in, so that's all ready to go back on. Okay, now we're ready, all of the bores are honed, we're ready to slide the brand new second-hand pistons back in. We're just making sure that all the rings are orientated the right way so that you've got like the top compression ring facing forward or back, and then the second one facing forward, and all the oil ring gaps are perfect, or where they should be when you slot them in. And we'll just put a bit of oil in around the skirt and around the rings, a bit down the bore, and slide them in with compressor tool. Insert the piston, like so. Got a wooden handle. So there should be an arrow, this is number 1, and the arrow faces forward on the engine. You just tap, tap, tap it in. Piston number 1. Time for number 2.
Let's hope the arrows are in the right place.
Still facing forward, yeah.
Yep. Ready?
Yeah, go for it. Put the bearing in.
Bearing in.
High performance second-hand bearings.
Brand new.
Yeehaw!
Brand new. Used.
Brand new second-hand. It's just like motorsport parts, there's no warranty on these. Bit of juice. Leave them up. Leave the journal up. Yummy! So that's all the pistons back in. I'm just going to torque up the main cap bolts. I'm going to put the oil jets back in, use a bit Loctite, and then we'll flip it over and start putting the head gasket and the decomp plates on. So that's all the caps torqued up to, is it 90? 35, sorry.
And then 90 degrees.
And then 90 degrees after that. So now we need to, all the jets, oil jets are back in, so we can flip the engine over and put the head on with our hillbilly decomp plate and 2 head gaskets.
Proper job.
Head gasket 1, 2mm stainless steel decomp plate, head gasket 2. I'm sure there's an issue when you put decomp plates on with the timing belt being that much higher. I'm sure you've got to do something. I can't remember, I'll speak to Zach, or like you'll have like the adjustment like right on the limit because the belt's going to be like 2mm, 4mm high.
Well, we've got vernier pulleys as well, which take some of that.
Slack out. It's the wrong way around, dude. Yeah.
Yeah.
Think of the back.
Yeah.
And there. Locate me one of the. I've got it. If you want to go grab a bulb, or you get it on those things. There you go. Nice. Now it's time to reinstate the cams. Is that tighter than it should be, do you reckon? I can literally nip them up by hand.
No.
The engine's back together. As I said, we need to get the right gasket for our oil pump, and then put the oil pump back on, and then the sump and the pickup can all go back on, and then we can obviously time it all up properly. But that's as far as we can really get today. Put the thermostat back on the back, so that's all ready to go. We're also getting Zach at Zoo Speed to do us a new inlet, so I'm going to take the throttle body over to him because we'll make use of the Escort RS Turbo throttle body that we've currently got, and I think we'll run the injectors that I had out the Fiesta which I think were Volvo injectors, which are somewhere. And it also means, because the Rover inlet had a fuel pressure regulator built into it, I've robbed the fuel pressure regulator off the Fiesta for now, and they're the new injectors that will run. That's it for another video. I hope you enjoyed it. Once again, bit of a bummer about breaking the car, but hopefully we've learned from our lessons and we can bang the decomp plate in it, get it back up and running and get it back on the road, and then obviously book it in for a dyno setup for all the full boost stuff, just to make sure that everything's as it should be. Don't forget to check out the merch. We've got some FPE t-shirts up there and some with a little Fiesta on the front. Also putting some caps up on there soon. And also check out the latest Classic Ford magazine. As I said before, I'm still doing write-ups on the Fiesta and the Sierra and other projects that I'll be getting involved in. Thanks for watching. I'll catch you guys next time. Take it easy.